Pardon me, Mark. Before you continue that, Dr. Neal had a question just on this very issue. That is the ethics committee and the procedures associated with that. So, Dr. Kutai, could you ask your question? I'll unmute your microphone.
Okay. Hi. I know you alluded to a piece that is somewhat half the answer to my question, which was item 10, page 10, item 16, that members are required to report to the association any unethical behavior by any other member that can be substantiated. Now, I have a question with that. When we come across a colleague engaging in unethical behavior, given item 16 requires that we report, wouldn't we have an ethic to talk to the colleague first? I know it's not written in the question, but it just occurred to me that reporting is one thing, but I think as professionals, we owe it to each other to pull each other aside and say, hey, look, so-and-so mentioned such and such. I just want to let you know. And that this is not a good thing to do as a professional hypnotherapist. And I would strongly advise that you cease doing so, barring which I am obliged to report you. Now, that means you have to expose yourself to that colleague. I wonder how many people would do that. Where I am a practicing health education specialist, we are obligated to first confront the colleague with that information. Do we do that in this field? It's not specified in our code of ethics. And also, if the behavior is unethical and not illegal, what should we do about that? And would it make any difference if the behavior was also illegal? Now, ask that of the attorney.
Sure, that's an excellent suggestion, and we do that as well in the legal profession. We have methodologies that we follow in that regard about confronting someone confidentially with some violation, and the association itself handles that. We aren't in a position to do that, but that would be the first step. If I notice they may not be aware that they're doing something unethical. Right. They may not have because remember, just as we're required to turn over a client to someone who may not be a member of IMDHA, we may run across someone who is acting in our view unethically, who may not be a member of the organization as well. I mean, do we ignore the fact that we let their behavior go unchecked, or at least not mentioning to them, look, you know, this is, I believe this to be unethical under most circumstances. They may not be following a code of ethics at all. As you know, we're fully unregulated. So it's a question as to what we do with a member or a non-member. I think if we don't have the methodology to be able to report it and to get it, to bring it to the attention of the organization, we may also have the responsibility to approach that person individually, and that's a personal decision, and I think it's a courageous decision. But I think a decision to do that helps the profession, whether you're a member of IMDHA, ICT, or not. Just as we would be required to turn them over to a more experienced colleague who may not be a member. So I think it's a very, very good gesture, and I think it's something we should take to heart and really consider before we go ahead and make a complaint, to approach the colleague ahead of time and confidentially, and just mention, look, this may not be good for you, or me or the profession, and it may not be especially good for your client. So um, just to give you, and then if it's illegal, of course, if
Yeah.
it's illegal, then it is unethical because the Code of Ethics requires that you follow all of the laws. Now, there's a question: is it may not be illegal, but it just may not have been done legally. That's another thing that we have to consider. It's not that it's criminal or that it's illegal, but you might not have done it legally. Followed the right procedures or followed filled out the correct forms. But that's how we that's how we do it. I would think that there's a method for us to do that, to confront a situation within the organization, but we have no authority over people who are not members.
Yes, I think it is a good idea to encourage our members and to encourage our members to, as you say, what is good for the one is good for the whole, and that if we do nothing when we see or hear about unethical behavior, then we are as guilty of that unethical behavior by condoning it and doing nothing about it.
Guilt by association.
Right. And we are the association, right?
Right.
That's important. I also think it's part of being a member of the professional community that we have an ethic towards the goodwill of one another in promoting a higher standard of conduct as professionals.
Right. As far as that goes, it just the honor of one is the honor of all. The guilt or the wounding of one is the wounding of all.
Right.
As we said in the earlier in the program. But I appreciate that.